Today I will teach you how to do the gradient and blending strategies. So this will be helpful once you'll have determined by this tutorial. So let's start with adding one amount onto the pigment every time you swatch on the paper. So it's like from bright to dull color or bright to fade. Yeah. So we're just gonna start with one color. For instance, I'm using blue. Okay. And I will apply it onto the palette. You see that? Yeah. As you know, I'm using this palette so that it's easier to wipe, clean out the pigments. Yeah, it's really easy to make all the colors gone off. Alright, so now I'm just gonna start. We're actually gonna be making 7. So let's start here. I'm just gonna make a rectangle, and you could see how the color turns out. We'll try to make it a bit more. And then, since I'm using the water brush pen, the way it's easier and faster, so I'm just gonna add a small drop onto the blue. And then let's test it out. Yeah, that color seems wet. And can you see the difference between this and that? Because there might be some possible differences if I add a small drop of water onto the pigment. So I'm going to add another pigment this time. And let's see what will happen if I can test it out again. Yeah, so now can you see the another expected difference within those two I've swatched earlier? Because I think I put a bit more pigment onto the palette. Yeah, you see here? So it's like when you ever see such thing as a little blob, perhaps it might be definitely keep going onto the color after all. And my nib is fully in blue, so let me just wipe it off a bit. And maybe if I can add a bit more water. Because watch, if I add a bit more water, that way it's creating even more color on the palette. So let's test it out on the paper. I'm going to swatch it. Now I can see the difference. Okay. Then a bit more water. Wow. Now you can see within that. Now you can see that. Does your vision spot to this color that looks similar, or does it quite seem the same as other colors to you? Well, to me, I just don't want to feel eager about that. I'm hoping to have this color as a gradient for the sky, for instance. Yeah, but this is a great way to practice when you were grading gradients step by step. That way you can see the colors as how faded, that when you add some water, or not add some water, but just gently take over them, and you can go down. I guess I try that. Okay, so we're just gonna have, or go for two more. And one last. I'm not sure you can see it. And yeah, this is the most faded color I've ever seen. And do you think that all of the colors, that each time that I've added amount of water onto the palette and swatch it onto the paper, does it seem like a gradient to you? Well, yeah, maybe quite so. Because I think I've added a bit of too much pressure, that when you see here onto the palette, you know, it's like making a bigger blob, kind of like a cell. Well, it's going to definitely make it a bit even more color when you've seen it. Yeah. Yeah, because even though that if I add too much water onto my palette, therefore the color can be still there. You see it onto the palette, but I think it's gonna have even more color as well, like something around here under the start, you know. Okay, so now we're moving on to the blending gradients right now. For this method, we're going to be using orange. I'll apply onto the palette first. Next, I'll do the same method as what I did to the blue before. So I'm gonna stop all the way up to here. Then I'm gonna be using red, and I'll apply onto the palette. And to make sure that if I want to kind of blend like from bottom all the way up through to the orange I've swatch, just to make sure that when your painting is a little bit dry, yeah, just a little bit dry, because I don't want to over layer, as it's not going to react with the other colors. So let's do the reverse way of do all the way back before. You can see that how the color orange is getting redder and redder from top to bottom, and it's making less orangey. Yeah, does your vision spot to you? That seems like that. Mhm. So I'm going to do a special trick, just one special trick. So on my palette, I will apply the colors onto this palette cell, like what I've used with the ones from before. And watch as what if happens if I swatch in this trick. And this is the great color as how I mix between these two colors, as I put it in the very middle of this column. And do you notice that spots on you the same, or is it similar? Yeah, but because for here with the pigments, this is a red, orange, or vermilion. It definitely is to me. But on the other hand, it's a little bit lighter. It's like where I've put one drop of water onto the vermilion color pigment, and just doing it like that, like that. So in my perspective, this strategy is the best for you to enhance your color gradients, and especially the blending. I hope you can try it out, or if you forget, just rewatch this video that I have demonstrated. Mhm. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.